Welcome back to Collectability. Today we're going to look at some new inventory and discuss Calatravas that are available now for purchase. Before we get started, I want to thank you for listening, and I have a personal favor to ask. Please push the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and this will ensure the future of this channel and help you discover the world of collectability. So if you love Patek Philippe content, push that button now. And don't forget to comment below after you watch this video. So let's get started. The Calatrava, the classic shape of Patek Philippe and the shape that has defined Patek Philippe throughout over 90 years of Patek Philippe's history. But what is the Calatrava? Patek Philippe on their site officially describes the Calatrava family as, quote, with its pure lines, the Calatrava is recognized as the very essence of the round wristwatch and one of the finest symbols of the Patek Philippe style. Supremely elegant, it charms each new generation of watch lovers by its timeless, understated perfection, end quote. So that's the official description. Now I'd like to give you my opinion of what a Calatrava is. Today, most consider a Calatrava basically any round, time-only Patek Philippe. But the name Calatrava was not used until the late 1980s by the company. So anything earlier, we were basically retroactively classifying as a Calatrava. I consider the reference 96 the classic form of the Calatrava, but as we're about to see, there's a wide variety of time-only watches that we can describe as Calatravas today. To begin, let's look at this reference 1491 scroll lug from 1953. It checks all the boxes for an exquisite, wearable, vintage Patek Philippe. Does it have the classic 96 form? No. Is it considered a Calatrava? And most collectors would call it a Calatrava? Yes. It is a classic time only. And this has beautiful center seconds. And in terms of rarity, this 1491 in rose gold, there are less than 400 of these known. And that's frankly in all case metals of the 1491. So it's quite a rare watch that was made from 1940 to 1965. Now take a look at the scroll lugs. You'll see what makes this so exquisite from the side profile. This example does have an archive confirmed caliber 27 SC. And while most versions of this reference are made with sub-seconds, it's a pleasant surprise to find this example with center seconds. And it's made even more rare by being rose gold. Now, the reference 3445, made from 1961 to 1981. This is the workhorse caliber of the 20th century, and it represents one of the greatest value buys from this era. It's aesthetically beautiful, and it has this incredible 27-460 automatic caliber, and also with a date, as you can see. This classic watch was available with or without a bracelet and a variety of different dials. This example is just so gorgeous with the champagne gilt dial. And at 35 millimeters, it's just the perfect size for the wrist. Next, a 3919. Here is the Calatrava of Calatravas. And ever since it was launched in 1985, it is considered to be the ultimate, quote, banker's watch, or just the classic Calatrava that everyone thinks of when they think of that name. It's a signature piece of the Patek Philippe line, and it reached iconic status with its clou de Paris, or hobnail bezel, this simple sub-seconds at 6 o'clock, and the classic Roman numerals. This example has a full set of Japanese papers and warranty, which is quite fun to find, and it's from 1993 and preserved in remarkable condition. It also has its certificate of origin, and this full kit example is ready for your collection. Speaking of classics, we need to look at a 3796, and this is the classic Calatrava design, in my opinion. It looks almost exactly like a 96 with those beautiful swooping lugs based on that Bauhaus principle of form follows function. And the case of this example was made by Atelier Rayonni, and of course the dial by no other than Stern Frere. And this 3796 has those beautiful diamond markers. This reference was launched in 1982, and as it replaced the reference 96, it quickly became one of the most popular watches in the line. With its classic caliber 215, small seconds movement, this is an essential part of any Patek Philippe collection. This example is complete mint with a certificate of origin and a full set also of Japanese papers. Now, skipping ahead a few years, let's go to the year 2000 when the reference 5107 was launched. Patek Philippe was making larger watches during this time period. Today they seem actually small because it's 36 millimeters, but for the time period, 36 millimeters was pushing the envelope. And it's a new classic. It has the 315 automatic caliber, which is an absolute pleasure to have on the wrist with the sapphire display back. And it has those classic Calatrava proportions. I love this reference for a lot of reasons, for its wearability, its visibility. It's so easy to see the time. And it's just classic with jeans or a suit. The 5107 is a classic go-to Patek Philippe Calatrava. Now, for something a little more obscure, let's skip forward a few years to this example from 2004. This is a reference 5115 with enamel dial. When the reference was launched in 2000, the reference 15 was considered the modern interpretation of the classic Calatrava with the hobnail dial, but with something quite special. This has a true porcelain enamel dial. Made with this true baked enamel, a close look reveals the classic imperfections of enamel that bring these dials to life. And sized at 35.5 millimeters, these time-only classic 300 Calatravas are absolutely wonderful to wear. And today, more and more collectors are seeing such value with the reference 5115. In 2005, the 5127 was launched. Now, the 5127 has this beautiful crown guards that you could see protecting the crown in that classic Calatrava proportion. And it has that very famous self-winding 315 center seconds caliber. This immediately became a very coveted classic Patek Philippe reference. And you'll notice those made after 2010 have the Patek Philippe seal as opposed to the earlier ones that have the Geneva seal. This particular example does have the Geneva seal, which more and more collectors are starting to factor that into their buying decision, whether they like the Geneva seal or the Patek Philippe seal. But that's a story for another day, because here, this 37 millimeter beauty is just sized perfectly for the wrist. And for someone who wants a classic self-winding Calatrava with a rounded bezel, look no further than here, because these are no longer in production. So if you want something of this aesthetic, now is the time to buy. Now, around 2010, we start seeing the 5120. And this is for the wearer who wanted an ultra-thin watch combined with an automatic caliber, as we could see here, the 5120. So it was launched in 2001, and this ultra-thin automatic beauty stayed in the line for almost 20 years. It was a staple in the collection and reached iconic status alongside the reference 3919, which was manual. They both, of course, share a similar design, but the 5120, as you'll note, has no sub-second. So it's very minimalist, it's ultra-thin, it's automatic, and the hobnail bezel is just magical on the wrist. And at 35 millimeters, it really does fit well, whether you're dressing up or dressing casually. Now, I didn't want to leave out the ladies, so I picked out one ladies Calatrava that we presently have available. And this is the reference 4897 in white. Now, it's interesting, when this watch came out, it was made in 35 millimeters, and this example from 2019, you can see it could fit on a men's wrist or a women's wrist today. The original white gold version, like I have now, has 72 diamonds on the bezel, which are just flawless, absolutely stunning on the wrist. And they're all set within the bezel in a very, I would just say, elegant way. And the sapphire back of this watch reveals the classic caliber 215 manual movement in all its glory. So this little watch is really quite amazing on the wrist, and that dial is magical as it dances in the light. So I want to thank you so much for watching today. And please comment below on your favorite Calatrava reference of all time. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Collectability on YouTube, Instagram, and also TikTok so that you do not miss any future posts. Thank you again, and please enjoy the hunt.